Hello everyone and welcome. Today I bring you another great gift idea for the holidays. Whether for yourself or someone else on your shopping list, I think anyone would enjoy getting this powerful, heavy-duty, portable air compressor from Gobege. I've tested a smaller tire inflator from Gobege before and I thought it was pretty good. So I thought that I would try out their heavy-duty air compressor this time and see how it performs. This one is designed more for the off-roading community, so it has a lot more durable features than the one that I previously tested. So if you're interested in a tough, go-anywhere air compressor / tire inflator, stick around as I unbox and test this puppy in this video. Alright guys, so when you unbox this puppy, this is everything you get. So let's talk a little bit about some of the features that this guy has. But before we get started testing this guy, do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. That way you get notified every time I do another product review video, DIY project, or a sale at a big box store where I can help you guys save more money. Alright guys, so this is the 12-volt heavy-duty air compressor / tire inflator from Gobege, available on Amazon, link in description below. At the time of making this video, this kit retails for $158.95, but they also have a $20 discount coupon on their Amazon page, making it even cheaper than that. So what do you get when you unbox this guy? Well, you get the tire inflator air compressor itself. You get a nice bag to keep it in when you're not using it. You get a very long power cord, which I'll talk about all this in a moment. You get also a very long inflator hose to be able to hook it up to your tires. You get a chuck adapter, and you get an air gauge, tell you the pressure of your tires built in right into the air hose. And I'll show you all this a little more in just a moment. The warranty on this guy is 1 year, and the dimensions on this guy are 14 inches by 9 inches by 6 inches in width. The weight on this guy is 16 pounds. This is not a light-duty unit. This is a heavy-duty unit. The power cord on this guy is 8 feet long, and the air hose is 26 feet long, which should get you all around your vehicle, no matter the size of your vehicle. That way you can inflate your tires with ease. The noise level on this guy is 70 decibels, so I doubt it's going to be very quiet. It'll probably be a little noisy, but it is a heavy-duty unit. This guy comes in 3 different colors and comes in red, which you see here, black, and orange. This guy is powered up by a 12-volt, 540-watt, oil-free direct drive motor, and the motor sits in this little area right here, so it's a fairly large unit. This guy has a 16mm large capacity cylinder, you can see right up here, and it can produce up to 150 psi max inflation. This guy can produce up to 6.35 CFM for faster tire inflation. This guy has a duty cycle of 40 minutes at 40 psi, so it runs longer without overheating. It also has a thermal shutoff protection that shuts it down if it gets too hot, that way it doesn't damage the motor. This guy has large anti-vibration pads on the bottom here to prevent it from skipping around when inflating tires. That's a big nuisance that a lot of compressors don't take into consideration. When you're using them, they skip around a lot, and you gotta keep constant attention to what they're doing. Now, a few things to point out about this guy. This is a heavy-duty air compressor and therefore does not have a lot of the bells and whistles of the smaller air compressors. It does not have presets for different size tires. This is not a set it and forget it type of air inflator. You have to manually shut it off when it reaches the pressure that you want it to be at. This is also a heavy puppy right here. This is not a lightweight unit. Everything on this unit is double the size of most of the other compressors that I've tested before. This unit is also made out of metal, not cheap plastics. You can hear that is metal, not plastic. So if you're looking for a lightweight, light-duty, programmable tire inflator, this may not be the one for you. I would suggest that you check out the other review video that I did of the other tire inflator from Gobege. That may be a different one that you might be more interested in. The other tire inflator was much lighter, smaller, and had all sorts of presets if that's something that you're interested in. But on the other hand, if you want a heavy-duty, go-anywhere, off-road capable, long duty cycle tire inflator / air compressor, then this is the one for you. So let's do some testing and see how this guy performs. Alright guys, so let's take a little closer look at this unit before we start doing some testing. Now, I realize when you watch a review video that somebody posts on YouTube or anyplace else, it can be a little difficult to understand really some of the features and what the units are like and so forth. So I'm going to give you a little closer look at the unit right here so you can see what I mean, that this is not a small unit. And that's why I put it right next to the tire so you can get an idea of what it looks like when it's in comparison to something that you're more familiar with, the full-size tire of a car. So that's what it looks like. It is not a small puppy. It is a decent sized unit, so you can get a feel for what it is. And like I said, that entire red box right there, that entire area is the motor. Then you have the piston right there. The air goes out through there, and there you have a quick connect for the hose. And the hose is right here. And I thought I would give you an idea of what it looks like. That is 26 feet of hose right there. That tells you how big and how long the hose really is. And there you have the gauge for it built right into it. You have the gauge right there, so you can see exactly when you're inflating it, what pressure you're getting and so forth. That tells you, very good display, very easy to understand where you're filling it to. Nice analog design. Now this guy over here, you can put this right on your tire stem if you want to. It threads right into your tire stem. But they also give you the option of using a chuck if you want to use this guy. This guy is just a thumb chuck. You just clip it on there if you want to use this guy, and you thread this guy onto there. So you have a choice of either this guy or that guy, whatever is more convenient for you. Now this guy over here is a quick connect. And this guy, just like a regular air compressor, connects onto the end of that guy right there. Let me show you how that goes. What you do is you put this guy right here, and it quick connects right onto there. And that's how you do that. So the hose is removable for storage. You don't need to worry about that. And there's your on-off switch, and there is your circuit breaker. If you happen to overload it, that's how you do it right there. And there is your power cord, 8 feet long. That shows you how much power cord you have right there to reach from the battery to wherever you set this guy up. Because this guy does need to be hooked up to your battery terminals. So you see that right there. So that gives you an idea of everything that comes with this guy and how long all these things really are. So now I'm going to deflate that tire up there, and then we're going to inflate it with this guy and see how long it takes. So let's get going. Alright guys, so we're going to be doing some testing and see how this tire inflator / compressor will perform when you're using it. So we have a timer set up back there, and that's going to be running when we're doing the test. You have the gauge right there, which is telling you exactly the pressure that we have. I already have it hooked up to the tire and to the compressor, and you can see that I lowered that tire almost down to 0 psi. It has maybe 5 psi in it, that's about it. And we're going to inflate it to 1 notch above the 25. You see the 25 right there? 1 line above it, that is 30, and that's what we're going to do it at, just for consistency. We're not going to go 32, 35, something like that, because it's much harder to track on this type of gauge when you were doing a video. So 1 line above the 25, that's where I will stop it, and that's what we'll see how much time it takes. Now, they recommend in the instructions, and I agree, this is the way you should do it. When you're using this compressor, you should have your vehicle running so that the alternator is producing enough current to keep the battery fully charged up. Now, I can run it without that and have it be quieter, but I don't want somebody to say that I didn't give it a proper testing and use it under the optimal conditions and so forth, because it'll get a lower voltage. So what I'm going to do right now, first of all, is I'm going to run the compressor so you can see what it sounds like. I want you to know the noise level that it produces, just in case it is offensive to you or something like that. So I'm going to run it without the car running, just to give you an idea what it runs like. Then I will turn on the car and run it at full power, and that way we get full performance out of the compressor. So here you go. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, so that was the compressor running by itself without the car running. Now this has a little pressure release valve on the back, which I'm going to press to release any air that was put into it right now. You see that we're almost down to about 0 right there. So I'm releasing any air that this guy could have put into it. So we give it a fair start. We're almost down to zero. There's hardly any air coming out of the back of it. You're going to have some residual air, but not much at all. Now, one thing that I will point out before I start the car and start doing the testing is that this is a little mini compressor as opposed to a tire inflator. They're going to show you readings a little differently. You're going to keep an eye on this thing, and you're going to see the gauge where it's going to go wildly up to about 50 or above, somewhere around there, because there is a difference between the inflation pressure, the pressure that is putting into the tire, and the static pressure, which is what you're seeing right now when there's no air pressure being put into it. So it puts in much more pressure than what the static pressure is in the tire itself. The static pressure is the pressure when there is no air being pumped into it. So there's a big difference between air rushing in and air just sitting in the tire. Two different readings you're going to get. So when I turn this on, you'll probably see it shoot way up there. That doesn't mean that the tire is full. It just means the amount of air rushing into the tire. And I will have to stop the compressor at some point to have it tell me where the static pressure is. Now, this guy says that it should be able to fill up a tire from zero, somewhere around here where we are right now, to about 30 in about a minute and a half, somewhere around there. So I may turn it off at the minute point and see exactly where we are. And that's what the timer is going to tell us down there. So the timer is not going to be as exact as I've done in other testing, because this one runs a little differently than some of the other tire inflators that I've tested before. So let me get the car started and we'll get going. Alright guys, there you have it. A minute and 30 seconds to fill up this tire from almost zero up to about 30 psi, which is what it says in the instructions that it will do. So it actually lived up to what it promised to do. I didn't want to stop it in between and have it mess up the testing and so forth, so I figured I'd let it go all the way to a minute and 30 seconds, and it lived up to what it promised. So that's pretty decent right there. How many products ever do that? Not too many. So it did a good job. And I think it did a fantastic job. Like I said, it is a little bit larger and a little bit heavier than some other units out there. So just be aware of that. But if you want something that is really quick at filling up your tire from almost zero to 30 psi or beyond, you're looking at a minute and 30 up to 2 minutes if you want to go further, all the way up to 40, 45 psi, etc. So depending on the size tire that you have, it will obviously vary. But for a normal full-size tire, I think it did a really great job. So if you're looking for a really fast inflator, I think this is a good one to check out right there. Check out their Amazon page for complete details. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye for now.